it's been about 2.5 years of Own It being featured, and I could not be happier and more proud of this show. Every single Tuesday, we have amazing guests. We have what I think are amazing conversations. And I just really enjoyed this featured hour with all of you, my amazing Meet Me community. But to get the show started, before we get the show started, I actually have a couple of disclaimers to share with you all. And as you know, it is a featured show, which means please, please, please keep it respectful here. Keep it respectful, not only towards myself, but also towards my guests, because they deserve all the respect. And, if you're not being respectful, then one of my it used to be called bouncers, but what's the word now? I don't know. One of my bouncers will, they're still bouncers. Okay. I thought they switched the word. They will kindly remove you from here. So, as you just saw. But yeah, just keep it respectful. Please do not use profanity in the comments or while being a guest, of course, because it is a feature show. We do have a format that we have to follow, guidelines, regulations that we have to follow because it is a feature show. So please, please, please make sure that you adhere to those. And, besides that, this is always a good feel show. Thank you. It's a good feel show. My intention with the show is for it to always be positive, uplifting, inspirational, empowering, and anything other than that, it is not welcome here. We have built an amazing community of people that truly enjoy being part of the show, showing up every Tuesday, listening, and being part of the conversation, which reminds me and takes me to my second disclaimer. Feel free to be part of the conversation. Every Tuesday, I have two amazing guests that are pre-booked for the show, but you can still be part of it by writing in the comments. If you have questions, feedback, concerns, anything, please just write them in the comment box, because even though I am hosting and talking to you guys, I am reading my comments as like right now. I see them all, I read them all, and I'm really grateful that you guys share your energy with me and you guys are here and you show up and you're part of this. And so the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is please support my guests. Make sure that you favor both of them, that you show up to their streams. My intention with this show is for all of us to uplift each other, to plug each other up. I think it's my own personal opinion. I don't really, to be completely honest with you, I don't watch a lot of feature shows on here. But in my opinion, what I love doing with my show is I believe feature shows are meant to push each other out there. All of us content creators and streamers support each other, help each other build a community that's positive and uplifting, and we all show up for each other. So I ask you to do that. Go support them. And the other thing I want to remind you guys is that I do have all my comments are on. I see everything, okay? So Trey, thank you for the favorite. But I do need to make sure that I mention this because it's a feature show. I am not able to individually address each and every single one of you as you guys are commenting, as you guys are sending gifts, except if you send the dragon. If you send a jet or a dragon, that's my only rule that I'll break during a feature show, because, those are just always amazing and surprising. But I can't address each and every single one of you as the show is happening. If you're sending gifts or favoring or sending hearts, I do appreciate it all and I see it all. So I will make pauses during the show to give shout outs to my top gifters of the show, to my top supporters of the show. I'm not in my office today, but when I'm in my office, I usually have a board behind me with the name of whoever was the boss for last week, right? So I just want to say that because I do want you guys to feel appreciated and seen, and I want you to know that you are all seen here. So thank you all for the favorites. I see them all, the hearts, the gifts, absolutely everything. So with that said, I think I have touched on all the points. Thank you, Jay, for that. Thank you. So I do want to welcome you all. If you are new here, welcome to Own It. My name is Cicely. I am Cuban, born and raised, hence why my name is That Cuban Girl. I've been going by that for years now on my YouTube, on my TikTok, which by the way, follow me. And that is just, I'm so proud of my roots. I'm so proud of where I come from. And so I am That Cuban Girl. And I have been for the last 10 years, 10, 12 years, it's been a long time. I have been in Los Angeles pursuing a career in entertainment. I have done it all. I have acted in projects. I have modeled. I've been a ring girl for boxing, a model. I said model already, my bad. What else? I'm an online streamer, content creator, YouTuber, beauty queen. How can I forget beauty queen? I've done a few pageants, and the most important being last year I competed at Miss Universe Cuba, and I made top 12 at Miss Universe Cuba. And so with that said, I love doing this show because this is my way to give back, to connect, which is more important, with an amazing community that has uplifted me when I needed it the most a couple of years ago. And I think we share that sentiment. A lot of us here share that sentiment because we all started streaming, I want to say, for very similar reasons, right? So welcome to Own It. My intention with this show is for you and I to become the absolute best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are, because I believe that we all have a story that is worth sharing. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter where I come from, doesn't matter what our backgrounds are, if we have things in common or not. We all have a story that is worth sharing. And whether you can relate to me or to my guests, we always have something in common, all of us, that it doesn't matter who we are, where we come from. And that one thing is that we're all here. We're all here in this streaming community of Meet Me, whether you're a gifter and not a streamer, or you're a streamer, okay? We all have this community in common. And that is the one thing that nobody can take away from us. So I hope that if you can't relate to me, at least you're able to relate to my guest today, because we have an amazing topic. I think I'm biased, right? Because I made up the topic, but this was by far the easiest topic that I have came up with. And as I always say on here, I always create the topics based on my guest's bio, but also things that I go through, so they're easier to talk about, right? And things that I feel can be helpful for all of us in here. The topics can't just be helpful for me. You know, I can't talk about acting because I know most of you guys are not actors, right? I could, but I understand we don't have those things in common, right? But things I can talk about are topics like today's topic. And today's topic was very easy because it's something that, yes, I live in Hollywood. Today's topic is something that I've been going through, and I am going through as of like now. And if you follow me on Instagram, you can go and see my stories from today where I opened up to you guys and I was vulnerable. And I think it's something that we can all have a conversation about during the show today, because I think we all at some point have gone through it or will go through it. And the topic of the day is dealing with burnout. How to deal with burnout. What is burnout? How can we deal with it, right? And I think it's a very, very interesting topic because most of us here, we're streamers, we're content creators, or artists at some point, right? You know, even if you're a gifter, I'm sure you probably have a job, or burnout. It's something that we can all experience. And I could bet that absolutely every single one of us in here has experienced burnout in any industry. It doesn't matter what industry we're part of. And it's really sometimes, first of all, sometimes it's hard to identify. And secondly, when we identify it, it's like, okay, which is where I'm at right now. It's like, okay, so how do I deal with it? What can I do? What steps can I take to make myself feel better and go back to my center and show up as the best version of myself. Because when you're burnt out, you just don't think clearly, in my opinion, right? So I'm curious to see how my guests deal with this in whatever areas of their lives, and we can exchange thoughts and inspiration and tips, right, on how to deal with that. I know I have figured out things and ways to deal with it, and this is what I'm doing actually today. And and I just want to share it with you guys. I just want to share it with you guys. Goodbye. Sorry, I just had to do this because I think it's very disrespectful. And I'm just not in the mood today. Thanks for the favor, you guys. But yeah, I'm really, 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 really interested to know what our guests of today think about it. And I also am really excited to get to meet them. They're wonderful. Thank you so much, Jay. They're wonderful ladies. I'm super excited to meet them. So again, welcome to Own It. Please stay towards the end of the show because we're going to have both my guests jump in the guest box together at the very end of the show for shout outs. It's gonna be cool, fun. So stick around if you're into this conversation. Make sure that if you're new on here, you hit that favorite star, you connect with me, you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all the things, and you also follow my guests and continue to support one another. So without further ado, I want to ask both my guests to request the guest box to see who's gonna go first. I don't know who's going to go first, but men are not allowed to burn out. It's illegal. That's not true. Men burn out. The difference with men and women, in my opinion, is that men push it down, and they explode. And that's also not healthy. But, well, we're not talking about mental health. It's not a topic we're allowed to talk about here. But that's a very interesting point. So thank you for that. All right, perfect. So I'm going to introduce my very first guest of the day. And she is a 26-year-old streamer. She's been streaming for 2 years, and she loves fishing and traveling. Everybody, please welcome to Own It, Chelsea.
Hi.
Hello, how are you, love?
I'm good. How are you, beautiful?
Doing amazing. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of the show. And
thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So I just want you to introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I love an hour. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I love fishing, traveling, camping, helping my little brother, and all that stuff.
I love that. So you've been streaming for 2 years, right? What got you into streaming?
Just wanting to be able to make more friends and connect with more people. And so just to check out the streaming world.
So how did you find out? I just really love asking people this because it's always different for all of us. How did you find Meet Me?
So I knew about it years ago, but it wasn't streaming, and people were like disrespectful, so I deleted it. But then I downloaded it again, and then it was streaming, and I thought that was amazing. So
have you been able to create and build a big community here? Like, do you have friends? How's that experience for you?
Yeah, it's going really good. Like, I am making a lot of friends along the way.
I love that. So we're talking about, well, before we get into the topic of the day, you don't have to share what you do like in real life for work and stuff if you don't want to, but does it have anything to do with being a content creator or streamer or anything like that?
Like sometimes I will do YouTube and stuff, but yeah, and I stream on here.
So when it comes to like burnout, because that's like our topic of the day, do you ever experience being burnt out?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
So what do you do to get out of it or feel better, or
I take a step back, take a break, and then I jump right back on it. What's your YouTube channel?
You can share if you want to.
Okay. Just real quick. Yeah, I'm nervous. This is my first time ever doing this. So
it's okay. You're doing amazing. Welcome to the show. It's just we're just having conversations, nothing crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my YouTube.
It's hard to see. What is it? Chelsea what?
Chelsea Noland 6014. Noland. Noland.
Amazing. Trippy says, I'll be nervous. Nobody judges. Exactly.
You guys.
Thanks, Trippy, for that. Yeah, I mean, it's normal to be nervous, you know, when you do a show, but this is I think my show is so chill. I just want to have conversations with people and get to know amazing streamers and get to know a little bit more of you guys' stories and what makes you you, what makes you, you know, who you are, and like what makes you like the streamer that you are also. And you know, it's just a conversation. um Thanks, Jay. So I just want to know, so what are like your passions? You talked about fishing, right? How did that start?
Well, I used to go with my dad and stuff. And yeah. And I have a little brother that has autism and he loves fishing, so it's just one of my favorite things to do.
I love that. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine about fishing the other day, actually, and I've only gone fishing in my entire life once when I was very, very little. I remember it, but like it's a blur, right? And I was telling him, oh my gosh, that sounds so relaxing. And then he goes to me, yeah, that's what people say when they actually don't go fishing.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Um, yeah, so I love that. Well, everybody, welcome in. Welcome to Own It. I just want you to know that I am super excited to be here today. I love this feature hour that we have here on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time or 2 p.m. Pacific Time. And Own It, it's all about you and I becoming the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are, because I believe that we all have a story that is worth sharing. So today on Own It, we have my first guest, Chelsea. She's been streaming for 2 years. You said this is your first feature show?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So everybody please go favorite her, support, go show up to the streams, and you know, just make sure that we connect with each other. And today's topic, we're talking about burnout. And thank you so much. And I wanted to talk about burnout because it's something I'm currently experiencing at the moment. And Chelsea mentioned that what she does is she steps back. And that's literally what I'm doing. Obviously, I wasn't going to cancel the show to step back, but I'm literally doing that for myself because I have been so busy and so on the go and so burnt out for weeks now, you know? And yesterday, I think I just had, I haven't had like a mental breakdown yet, thankfully, because I think I was able to recognize it soon enough. But I have been very tired and overwhelmed and just really burned out. And I was like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So what would you tell to somebody on here, Chelsea, that might be experiencing this?
Yeah, just take a step back, take a break, come up with new ideas, new hobbies, and all that stuff.
I love that. Do you have any shout outs, anything that you want to shout out before I let you go?
I don't think so.
No, when are your streams? When do you stream?
Oh yeah, I stream multiple times a day. I try to get on there for a few hours. And yeah.
I love that. Well, please, everybody, go favorite Chelsea. Go check her out. Let's stick together. Chelsea, thank you for being here today. And please do not go anywhere because I'm going to bring you back at the end of the featured hour, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon. That was so nice, you guys. You know, she's a little nervous, but it's okay. It happens. It's fine, and this is why we're here, right? We're here to support each other. Doesn't matter. It's okay. You're fine. It doesn't matter who we are, where we come from. Everyone, as long as you're respectful and you have good intentions and good vibes, you're always going to be welcome to my show. This reminds me, I was reading somebody earlier. Oh, Z. You can talk to Emoji J so he can get you in the guest list for a show coming up. And you know, just talk to Emoji J. Emoji J's here somewhere, and that's how you can get on the show. But thank you so much for being here, Z, and for supporting and for wanting to be part of the show. I really appreciate you. And yeah, you guys, you know, this is what feature shows are all about. I love when my guests are super talkative and upbeat, but I also love it when they're new and they're learning. And I think there's beauty in every single phase of our lives, right? I was very shy at one point, believe it or not. I have been very shy back when I was way younger, and I have learned to get out of my shell a little bit. And although I found streaming when I was already experienced like in other things and being in front of the camera, this is a whole different beast, you guys. Now we're used to streaming, right? Like it's become more of a common thing, but even just a couple of years ago, it was not a thing. I remember when I first started streaming in 2020 on a different platform, that I would tell people would ask me, what do you do? You know, 2020, we weren't doing anything really. I would be like, oh, I'm a streamer. And then right after I would have to say, but it's not like a webcam thing or anything. It's like just talking to people, because people did not know what it was. And I say this to say that live streaming is a whole different beast on its own. One thing is to be used to being in front of the camera. The other thing is to be used to going live. Because guess what? When you go live, you're not editing yourself. You have to have a personality, whatever kind of personality you have. It doesn't matter if you're shy or outgoing, but you have to be you. People really see who you are when you're live, right? And that is something that I did not really understand, you know, and I had to just really like get used to it. So, and learn about it, right? So yeah, that was like the biggest thing for me, but I just love welcoming new streamers. And I know I went on a tangent with that, but I just wanted to reaffirm that. Anyways, let me see, do I see a request? Yes, I see it. Just give me a second. Anyway, you guys, welcome to Own It. This is going to be an amazing show. I love having this show every Tuesday here on the live community of Meet Me every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time or 2 p.m. Pacific time. Today's topic is dealing with burnout, how to deal with burnout. And before I invite my second guest of the day to speak to me and just, you know, to meet her and stuff, I want to first share the quote of the day with you guys. And the quote of the day today, it's a quote. It took me a little bit to find a quote that I really resonated with. If you know me, you know that I always share things, always in my life. For everything I do, I share things that I resonate with, that I use, that I love, whatever. Took me a little bit because I felt like a lot of these quotes were just not it. They were not it, you guys. They were not giving, you know. So the quote that I ended up picking is, doing your best does not mean working yourself to the point of a mental breakdown. Doing your best does not mean working yourself to the point of a mental breakdown. And that really resonated with me because, as I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I did not, and thankfully did not have a breakdown yet because of being burnt out, but that's because I was able to catch it on time. I'm really aware of the things that I do, the things that I say, the things that I would say more about the things that I do wrong than the things I do right. And that's something I'm really working on. But because I'm so aware, I was able to catch it because before breakdown, right? But this really resonated with me because just because we're doing our best, it doesn't mean that we have to work ourselves to death, right? That working ourselves to death or to to illness, right? Because it's happened to me before, by the way, where I have worked so hard previously. I've ended up sick, right? Because your immunity system goes down. And I'm no doctor, by the way, it's just my opinion. But, you know, it's not just because you're working really, 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 really hard does not mean that you're working smart, and that does not mean that you are doing your best whatsoever. Just because you're working hard does not mean you're doing your best at all. And if there's one thing I can tell you today, and I want you to take from this show today, is that. And I actually believe that in order to do our best, we need to actually slow down, like Chelsea was mentioning, take a step back, slow down, go within, blocking everything out. Like I have all these goals and all these things I'm doing and I want to achieve and do. But today and tomorrow and yesterday, I just said to myself, these 3 days, I'm just going to block and forget everything that I need to do, that I have, and I'm just going to step back so I can move forward and step forward, right? So step back so you can step forward. That would be my advice. And talk about it, which is why this is a topic of the day today, because this is also very healing for me, and I hope it serves any one of you out there. So with that said, I want to welcome my second guest of the day today. And hold on. Where's the intro? Oh, there we go. Okay, very short intro, but I love short intros too, and short bios, because that allows me to actually ask a lot of questions. If I genuinely don't know about you, then I have more things to ask. So this is great. So my second guest of today's show, she is a host for the show, The Dating Experiment. I cannot wait to ask you what this is all about. And this show is going to be on Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern time here on the live community of Meet Me starting this June. So everybody, welcome to Own It, Amazingly Smooth.
Hi, Dani. Hi, everyone.
Hi, beautiful. Welcome to Own It. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. First of all, thank you so much for being here, for taking the time. And you look stunning, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Shout out to E-Baby.
I love that.
Thank you, baby.
Yes, thank you, E-Babe. So okay, my love. So you're the host of the dating show, the Dating Experiment. So tell me hold on. Let me rewind. Before I ask you about the Dating Experiment, tell me a little bit more about yourself, because you gave me like one thing.
I don't really give that. As I get to know people, I give stuff. So it's kind of like really specific how it goes. Hi, Chelsea, you did great. So one thing about me, I like to have fun. I'm a very upbeat personality for the most part, but I'm also very chill. I don't know what else to tell you. I suck at talking about myself. I don't know what else to tell you.
I can ask you questions. Okay, so so how long have you been streaming for?
So I've been streaming since 2021.
Okay, and so what got you into streaming?
Okay, so it's a really lame story, but follow me, right? So it's Valentine's Day 2021. I have no intoxicants whatsoever, and I'm just sitting here like, dang, does this mean I'm about to be sober? And then I kind of got in my feelings because I was kind of missing people that I lost during COVID. And then I just opened my phone, and then POF was like, we do live streaming. And I was like, shut up. I'm about to go terrorize some people. So I got on the app, and then it's been up since then.
I love that. I love hearing everyone's story, because I've trust me, I've had so many guests on here the last 2.5 years that, I've had people tell me they started streaming because they wanted to find their person. And then other people like me, I was going through a breakup and I just wanted community. I was feeling very alone, and I just wanted to try something new. And my first few streams were just me dancing, just kind of like, just playing music, and and I love hearing people's stories because of that. So I love that. I love that you were just like, let me just go. So when you first started streaming, were you shy? How did you get over? No?
No, I'm used to being on camera also. I've done a lot of behind the scenes slash some little background work when I was living in Georgia for like different movies, different shows, etc. So I'm very familiar. I've always been in front of the spotlight. I can sing, I can act but naturally, I write well. So I've always been in front of people performing in some capacity. But one of the things was I really wanted to do a YouTube channel in honor of my one of my late people that I miss. And I wanted to read children's stories. And I was struggling with uploads. And every time I was trying to upload something on YouTube, I couldn't do it. So this was my practice. I said, I'm going to use this as my baby step. And I never left. I've never made it to YouTube. I've just been here terrorizing the folks. And some people love it.
I love that. I still think you should go to YouTube though, also. I love that. No, I love that so much. Cause yeah, I mean, this is a very different and interesting worlds of live streaming, right? It's not for everybody, but I believe that those of us who do it and partake are very special human beings.
You got to be built for it. And
Yeah.
I think like when I say terrorize, I really mean shout out to Meet Me because I will say when I first joined the app, I was a little sensitive because I was raised a little sheltered. See, it comes out a little bit at a time, you see. I was a little sheltered, so I was a little sensitive. And one of the projects I was working on required me not to be sensitive. So by the time I got here, I was ready for all the trolling. I was ready for everything. That's why I say terrorize, because it's like, if you troll me, I'll just troll you back. And then half the time you never know what to believe because I'm probably trolling for entertainment and content purposes. You need it. How are you?
I
So
love
that
that so much. See, you and I are very different because you like trolling back. I'm just really good at ignoring people. God knows that I don't ghost people because I'm a good person, but I'm actually better at like distancing myself and never talking again than like me even giving you my energy. But that's really fun though that you're able to do that.
it's a transmutation process. It's not like I come back at you to berate you. I kind of come back at you with little healing points. And if you choose to accept them, you can. But if you choose not to, that's fine. And I've had quite a few people where we might have started off rough in the beginning. Maybe they started with, oh, you're fat, you're black, is da da da. And then after I finished trolling them, we're like best friends. And everybody's like, how are y'all so cool? I'm like, cause I told them about their self too. And like, we're all here and it's great. Like, it gives us an opportunity to evolve through the connection.
I love that, and like I said, it takes a very special person. That's amazing that you're able to do that, and you kind of convert them in a way, which is really cool.
I do. I do.
Amazing. I just want to make a quick pause and welcome everybody into Own It. Thank you guys for being here. This is a feature show that happens here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, or if you're my side of the world in California at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. And I'm going to give a couple of shout outs right now. Not to the gifters at the moment, but just to the people in the comments right now, because you guys make this show and you guys make the conversation better, easier, and your presence is really appreciated. So big shout out to Z, who's been here talking for a while. And, thank you so much, Z, for being part of the conversation. Thank you, King Ken Porter. Thank you, Chelsea, who's my first guest. Who else? Trippy. And Samuel, thank you so much. Yeah, those are my shout outs right now. Thank you so much for being here. I am talking to the amazingly smooth, my second guest of the day on Own It. The topic of today is burnout, how to deal with burnout. And, I think it's something that needs to be talked about because like I previously had somebody in the comments say that men don't deal with that or whatever. I think a lot of people just don't deal with it. They don't even talk about it, right? And I think it's so important, even what we're doing right now, just talking about it, getting it out of our system, super important. So, amazingly smooth, have you dealt with burnout before?
I have, but can I touch a little bit about the men in my life and how when I'm noticing like signs that they need to take a break, how I kind of get assertive with that process? Like, I had a friend who recently was vulnerable with me. He was like, listen, this upcoming weekend is going to be tough. My grandmother passed just a couple years ago. This is her birthday, the day she passed, blah, blah, blah. And it was as simple as showing up with a bottle and just sitting there. And he just like after that, whatever energy level he was before, he was just so much higher after that. And he was just like, I really appreciate you being around and thank you for taking time with me. And I was just like, it's really simple. So sometimes when men tend to ignore it, it helps when the women in their lives who love them take the time to hear them when they're speaking and just show up a little, just a little bit. It doesn't always take like a grandiose gesture, just a little bit if you can, you know? And for me, I just tap out. Like I'll get on Meet Me for sure. And again, trolling is very therapeutic for me, so I do enjoy that. But I zone out. I'll just put on a really funny Netflix show. I watch The Good Place all the time when I'm really out of it and I'm like exhausted. Have you ever seen The Good Place?
I did, but it kind of lost me after like the first season or like the first few episodes. I don't even know how many seasons there are right now.
I watched the whole thing through and through every time, and it will lose you. But after a while, what it kind of helped me do was not be so in my feels about people who pass, because it talks a lot about the afterlife process, and it could just all be parody, but it's just really comforting to know like time isn't in a linear fashion. They call it Jeremy Bearimy. It's like a script writing of Jeremy Bearimy, and the I is something called life so seriously sometimes because they're really seriously stuck eating frozen yogurt for eternity until they have to go to the bad place, right? I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I just find little ways to be silly. I'll engage with my silly friends. My homegirls, absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Top tier comedians. I laughed for 8 hours straight yesterday, like it was a full-time job. I never not laughed. I love my girls. So I just lean into the areas where I feel love, where I feel comedy, and where I feel safe to just be and not have to perform in any way.
I love that. No, that's a really interesting point because I do similar stuff. I have a show right now that I'm watching that's called All American. I don't know if you've seen it.
I
It's
will watch.
oh my God, I think you would love it. It's called All American. And I thought when I saw the first episode, I was like, oh, it's gonna be just like a little football high school show. No, it's like it's so good. But also what I've been doing lately, for myself is I have gifted myself experiences. Like I will purposely, like on Saturday, I went to a concert of this childhood artist that I used to love when I was in Cuba. He's not Cuban, he's from Spain, but I was like obsessed with him when I was like 12, right? And he came to LA and he was having a concert, and I just gifted myself that experience. And it's been the one thing that I have done this year that truly took me out of my head and put me back in that childlike energy because it was very nostalgic for me. It was an amazing experience and it really recharged my soul. And I think that's so important for us to do things when we feel burned out to recharge our soul. And I don't know why a lot of times, because we're in such a go culture and society, a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to take a breath and step back and do things that help us bring us joy, right?
And one thing I want to add too is when we're dealing with our burnout, regulation of our nervous system is such a big deal, right? So I tend to heavily rely on things like passion flower and lemon balm when I can. Passion flower will put you to sleep, but lemon balm will definitely help you calm down. I know before this show, I was already in a tizzy because I wasn't feeling well when E-Baby called me. I was like, oh, girl, I feel like a truck ran over me, but all right, I'll do it. And so I'm already going through my own anxiety. And then there's just all these messages. And I was like, I'm making some tea. I'm not doing it. I'm making some tea because if I match energy, it's going to be overwhelming. I'm just going to make some tea. And so I made some tea and we're here and it's owning how I show up. It's not about anybody else. It's just owning how I show up. And sometimes I need that tea. Sometimes I just need that break. So I did what I needed to do. It was on time. You're amazing. The show's amazing. And I do micro things also. But another thing too, my mom's really sheltered. So I like to do strange things with her, like take her to lavender fields or like go to brunch because she's never done these things. And I'm like, you've never been to brunch? She's like, no. I'm like, well, we're going to brunch. Okay, what do I wear? I'm like, let's get dressed.
Wait, she had never gone to brunch, your mom?
My mom is from New York City, and I've done way more in my country, backwoods, well water drinking life than she's done in her entirety. And it's no shade to her. She just really likes what she likes. So I get a kick out of entertaining her in ways she's never been entertained before. Somehow that restores my soul, like in the way you were talking about going to see that concert. It gives me that gleam back in my eye and that hustle back in my step. Like, I've got to do more. Like, I got to get her on a PJ. I got to get her to Bali. Like, I got to give her experiences, man. Like, you can't just live and say you just ate collard greens and went to sleep. Like, no, you got to live, girl. You got to go do stuff. So
Yeah, and you know, oh yeah, Z says, bro, you're breaking generational curses doing that. That is so true. That is so true. And you know, that's a whole topic for a different day. But yeah, a lot of us on here, we are breaking generational curses. I know I am, and you probably are too, you know. So it's definitely very interesting because my mom also, she's never traveled. The only time she's ever traveled is just literally two places in the States, you know, after we left Cuba. She's only gone to, I think, she came to California a long time ago with me. And I think that's it. I think she hasn't gone anywhere else. And so this year, I really want to do something special for her birthday. And so I can relate to you with that, right? Where those experiences are really recharging and they're good for the soul. And you know, it's okay to step back and not be on all the time, you know.
Of course.
So Amazingly Smooth, give us some shout outs. Oh wait, I need to talk to you about your show. What is that about?
Okay, so the dating experiment all started because I had a homegirl who was going to do a speed dating show, and we all gave her the burden of, we're going to find love on your show, so it better be good. We were serious. Then one day she just taps out, but we were all ready for a show. So I said, I'll do this one for you, and we'll see how it goes. So I did something called the dating experiment because I didn't know how to do speed dating. And everyone loved it. I had a big turnout. Like my first show for a girl who barely had 100K diamonds, I had a big turnout. Lots of people there, lots of positive feedback from the show. So I continued it. At first, it was kind of like to see if we can find some matchmaking on the app, but that was a struggle because I had like 12 contestants. So now I broke it down into the taboo dating subjects. In April, we talked about polygamy. So we talked about polygyny, polyandry, polyamory. We had different guests. So we had a men's segment on the first Friday, we had a women's segment on the second Friday. I attempted to do a dating simulation the third Friday, and the dating simulator is basically trying to introduce someone who's interested in the topic among people who are familiar with the topic and seeing how we can make it all work together in some capacity. Like maybe they want to do it, maybe they don't, however that works. Then May was BDSM, but you know, Live Fest, it was a little difficult. So I'm restarting in June with LGBTQIA. I think I'm going to focus on just having one contestant at a time to kind of talk about their experience, maybe two. I was having a panel of four. So yeah, it's kind of just discussing the innards of things we don't really know, but we judge. Like when I say BDSM, what do you think of that?
Well, I don't think we can talk about that stuff on the featured, but
I apologize. No. I apologize, but I meant to bring up the fact that it can be. Yeah, I apologize. I was just bringing up the fact that initially we judge, or initially we go like, oh, you must like to be in pain, and it's kind of a bad taste in our mouth. So it was just helpful for me to get people who know the rules and know how it goes to kind of, yeah. So thank you for correcting me on that. I apologize.
it's okay. No, I understand. A lot of times people forget, but it's not a big deal at all. But no, I totally know what you're talking about. And in my opinion, I think these are things that are very important to talk about because, again, a lot of people don't talk about these things. In my own personal life, I mean, I know what I stand with when it comes to dating, right? My values, whatever it is. But I know somebody, I'm not going to say who, but I know somebody whom we've had these conversations before, and he's someone who thought for a long time he was monogamous, and then he's now in a journey where like he's starting to realize maybe that's not really where I need to, like, what my label should be, right? And so these things are very important to talk about because I think that when we again suppress, push down, that's when we hurt ourselves, we hurt people. And my whole philosophy of life is be honest. Doesn't matter what your truth is, but be honest about your truth.
Hence the show Own It.
Yes, hence own it. Thank you, my lovely. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really love to have you. I will be bringing you back in the next few minutes for final thoughts and shout outs and all that. So please don't go anywhere. But everybody, please favor Amazingly Smooth, and we'll see her in a few minutes. Thank you so much. That was an amazing conversation. Thank you guys for being here. Truly, I always say this, but you know, even at my worst, I just always showing up for the show. The only times I don't show up for the show is when I'm physically ill, because I've done that before. It's not fun, right? But even if I'm not emotionally feeling well, showing up for the show, it's always something that really just recharges my soul. And it's really, you know, just like Amazingly Smooth was talking about how she didn't really feel before that she could do the show, and then she drank some tea. For me, it's the same thing. It's like, this is so recharging. I love connecting with you guys. And App kicked me out. Oh no, I was like, where's Jay? But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give some shout outs right now, and I apologize that I haven't done shout outs. I usually do a couple of shout outs throughout the show, but I don't know where time went today, which is a good thing. That means the conversation was good, but gosh, it's like the time's almost over. So quick shout outs from Culinary. First shout out to my friend Culinary. Shout outs from the comment box, because I really appreciate you guys being here today. Shout out to my amazing admin Emoji J, of course. If you would like to be part of the show and join the guest list, please contact Emoji J. He will add you to the guest list, and you can, it doesn't matter, you don't necessarily have to be a streamer, okay? You can just be a gifter. You can be a watcher, but if you want to be on the show, share your experiences, talk about some things, whatever. As long as your camera is on, you can always be on the show, part of it, okay? We do not discriminate. All of you guys, as long as you're respectful and positive, you're all welcome. So shout out to Z, who, you know, has been here commenting. It's my first time meeting Z, but thank you so much for being part of the just the conversation. Also, glad to see you too, Cooley. Shout out to Samuel. Shout out to Kevin. Thank you. Shout out to Trippy. Thank you so much for the gifts. Shout out to Jake, to VGK, to Chelsea, of course, my guest, to Amazingly Smooth, my other guest. Thanks, babes. I appreciate you. That's so cute. Thank you, Cooley. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a minute. Who else? Okay, now I want to shout out my top gifters of the day today. And my top gifters are, sorry guys, where are my gifters? Okay, today, top 3, and number 3, Trippy. Number 2, E-Baby, thank you. And number 1, Culinary. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Thank you. And yeah, I think we have reached the end of the featured hour. So shortly, I am going to be inviting both my guests back into the chat box. But before I do that, I do want to share some stuff with you. I know we've shared a lot today about being burned out and experiencing burnout and all of that. And for me, this year specifically, 2025, like I said, I'm a very aware person. I'm very spiritual. I'm not always perfect. I mean, I'm never perfect. None of us are. But sometimes I fall off the wagon with my habits and things like that. I think those things are normal. But for me, this year specifically has been a year of a lot of growth, and not necessarily like, for example, the previous 2-3 years, I needed to grow when it came to relationships and like emotionally. It was like emotional growth, right? It was all about love and dating and understanding myself and all these things when it came to like partnership, right? But I think, I mean, even the world was growing and evolving in that aspect, it never stops. That is not the focus now. 2025 for me, and I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Oh, that's weird, King. I don't know, but thank you anyways. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but this year for me, it's all about growth when it comes to professional growth. Like, oh my gosh, professional growth. It's been all about learning. You know, I'm starting a business very soon, which is why I would love for you guys to follow me on TikTok, because that's where it's going to be. But it's all about growing professionally and learning about so many different things, budgeting, discipline, just, you know, a lot of things. And that is a different type of burnout. So like emotional burnout is one thing. It's awful, I understand. But professional burnout is also very challenging to deal with. And yeah, I would really advise you guys, in my own personal opinion, right, just to firstly talk about it with people, your friends, even if you need to vent, right? Even if you don't need anybody's opinion about it, you just want to vent to a friend. Talk about it, open up about it. Don't hold it down, because that's worse. Step back, even if you have a deadline, just say, you know what, step back, take a couple of days, to not feel that heaviness, right? And yeah, and just really recenter, refocus. That is my main advice, in my opinion. I'm not a professional, but this is what I do, and that plus all the things that we've already touched on. um I've deleted social media, including Sound Like I'm here to see you. Actually, I thank you so much for being here, Culinary. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. So yeah, you guys, I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm going to ask both my guests right now to request the guest box so we can have a final chat in these last few minutes left. So if both my lovely guests are still on here, please request the guest box. And okay, perfect. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, and welcome back. Did you knew each other?
No.
No, okay. Well, I love that. That's amazing. Now you know each other. Now you guys can follow each other, support each other. So I just wanted to take these few moments to say thank you, really, for being part of the show, for being here, for sharing your stories, your thoughts, your energy. Congratulations to Chelsea for this being your very first show. I hope you've had a great time. And
Thank
you've done great, by the way.
you so much.
And amazingly smooth. Thank you also for sharing who you are. And there is one thing that I like asking my guests at the end of the show to share with us, and that is, what is one thing that you can own up about yourself that helps you in your journey?
Okay, I could tell you, but I'm trying to find a clean way to say it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say it like this. I care as much as I don't. I care as much as I don't. I get too deep with emotions or take things too seriously. So the moment I start seeing that, I just laugh and be like, you know what? It's not even real. Like there's a part in The Good Place where there's a girl who actually leaves and she's like in the good place now, and she acts like it's all a simulation. She's like knocking people over. She's just throwing pretzels. She's like, none of this is real, and I'll do that in a heartbeat. As soon as it gets too much, I'm like, yep, this isn't real. I'll see y'all later, and then I come back and everything's cool.
I love that, and that's an amazing way to really own who you are, and that's how you deal with life, and that's a beautiful way. As long as you own who you are, it doesn't matter who you are, right? Like, own it, live in your truth, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Chelsea?
And I feel like mine would be owning my anxiety and stuff and just pushing through it. And yeah, just keep going no matter what. Never stop, never give up.
And that's beautiful because, you mentioned before you were nervous, but you still showed up. You're still here. You still did it. And that is so important. Like, that is such an important part of life, is to show up for ourselves when we know we should and we need to. And if we don't show up for ourselves, right, who's going to show up for us?
Definitely.
Such a beautiful thing. So lastly, give me shout outs. Anything you want to shout out, anybody you want to shout out. If you want to shout out your streams, this is your moment.
Thank you. So I'll take this out if you don't mind. Do you mind if I go first? I want to say shout out to that Cuban girl for giving us the space. I want to shout out E Baby for calling me up and being like, "Girl, get yourself together. It's time for a show." I want to thank my first gifter for gifting me before I even believed in making content. Like my top gifter, for no reason at all, just being genuine, was just blowing up my board. And somewhere in there, I got involved for the content, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate all my supporters. I appreciate Donnie for making it. Like I didn't even know she knew you. I just saw her in the comments and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, my baby. Donnie supports me so much. Her and Taco and E-Baby, they support me like to no end. So I really appreciate them and I hope they feel the love and support from me as well. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Amazingly Smooth, and thank you to everybody who showed up for you.
One more. Shout out to Chelsea. You did a great job, an amazing job for what
Thank
you
you
said
so
you're going
much.
through. You did top tier, and just keep doing it and keep growing and keep going. You're doing amazing. All right,
Thank you so much.
Yes, Chelsea, shout out to you for sure, for sure, for sure. You did so, so, so good.
Thank you.
So yeah, Chelsea, do you have any like shout outs do you want to give?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to all the people that support me. Emoji J is amazing. I appreciate you all.
Amazing.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You're very welcome. I loved having you both on the show today and getting to know you. And, you know, if you ever see me live, don't hesitate to request and we can have conversations, you know. Amazingly Smooth, I do want to ask you, do you have a time and date for your show in June or no?
Fridays at 10 p.m.
Fridays, love that.
10 p.m. Eastern Standard. So yeah, I'll be bringing it back.
I love that, you guys. Well, now you know Chelsea goes live a couple of times a day, and then Amazingly Smooth has her new show, The Dating Experiment, on Fridays at 10 p.m. starting this June. Please support them, favor them. Let's continue to grow a positive, inspirational community on here. I know that that's what I want to do and what I'm striving to do every day here, right? Every Tuesday. So thank you both for being here. Appreciate you. And yeah, I will see you guys, you both next time. I'll see you around.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And you guys, I just want to, before we close before we leave the show, I know it's the last minute of the featured hour. I truly, truly want to say how much I appreciate you all truly for being here, for giving me your time, your energy, showing up for the show. The gifts, the hearts, the comments. Thank you. Appreciate you all more than you know, really. I love this community. I do want to invite you to follow me on Instagram at Cicely Marin and on TikTok at That Cuban Girl Cicely. And all of you guys who follow me today on Instagram will be added to my close friends list. Okay. So thank you for the favorites, for absolutely everything you do for me on here, for everything you've been doing for me for the last 2.5 years. And yeah, let's continue to rock it on here. And thank you, Culinary, for showing up for the show, for being my #1 gifter of the day. Shout out to Emoji J. And you guys, thank you. And I will see you here next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So you and I can own it. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.